I never thought my life could change in an instant, but here I am, staring at the hospital's sterile walls, my mind reeling. My name is Jack, a software engineer with a knack for solving puzzles. Yet the puzzle I'm facing now is the hardest one yet. I thought I had a perfect marriage with Lisa, my wife of 7 years. We had a comfortable life, a beautiful home, and no children. A mutual decision, or so I believed. Our friends and family saw us as the ideal couple. But today, everything's shattered. The phone call came out of nowhere. "Mr. Harris, your wife has been found unconscious," the voice on the other end said. My heart stopped. "She was at another man's house," they continued. "There was an incident during their love games." My world spun. I drove to the hospital in a daze, anger and betrayal swirling inside me. At the hospital, the smell of antiseptic and the buzz of machines filled the air. I found Lisa in a coma, hooked up to various machines. Her skin was pale, and her once bright eyes were closed. I couldn't look at her the same way. A nurse handed me a report. It detailed the horrifying things they had found. My stomach turned. "Mr. Harris, your wife was found with objects inserted in her," the doctor said, trying to sound professional. "She was involved in some extreme activities with a man named Mark. We're doing everything we can." I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. My thoughts were a chaotic mess. How could she betray me like this? What did I do to deserve this? The anger inside me grew, fueled by the vivid images my mind conjured. I felt a strange mix of pain and resolve. Back home, our house felt like a stranger's place. Everywhere I looked, I saw reminders of her, our wedding photo on the mantel, her clothes in the closet. I couldn't bear it. I grabbed a suitcase and started packing her things, throwing them haphazardly. My phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "She's been lying to you for years. Meet me if you want the truth." Curiosity and rage drove me to meet the sender. It was Mark, her lover. He stood there smirking, confident. "You think you know your wife? You don't," he said. The urge to punch him was overwhelming, but I held back. He continued, "She was stealing from you, giving it to me. We laughed about it." The betrayal cut deeper. I left without a word, my mind racing. Back at the hospital, I looked at Lisa again. She was still out, oblivious to the chaos she had caused. I decided then and there, I wouldn't be the victim. I would make her and her lover pay. I cut her off financially the next day. I spoke to our lawyer, froze our accounts. My revenge had begun. As I left the hospital, I felt a dark satisfaction. They thought they were smart, but they had no idea what they were up against. The game had just begun. The call from the hospital lingers in my mind. I replay the words over and over, unable to escape their impact. My wife Lisa was found unconscious at her lover's house. The details are grotesque and vivid. They found objects inserted in her, a result of their twisted love games. My stomach churns at the thought. I sit by her hospital bed staring at her pale face. Tubes and wires snake around her, keeping her alive. The beeping of the machines is the only sound in the room. Anger boils within me, mixing with a deep sense of betrayal. How could she do this to me? The door opens and a nurse enters. "Mr. Harris, do you need anything?" "No, I'm fine," I reply, my voice hollow. She nods and leaves, closing the door softly behind her. I turn back to Lisa. The urge to shake her awake, to demand answers, is overwhelming. But she lies there, oblivious to the turmoil she's caused. My phone buzzes in my pocket. It's a message from my lawyer, confirming that Lisa's access to our accounts has been frozen. A small victory, but it feels hollow. I leave the hospital and head home. The house is eerily quiet. I walk through the rooms, memories of happier times flooding my mind. Our wedding photo on the mantel catches my eye. We look so happy, so in love. I grab the frame and smash it against the wall. Glass shatters, mirroring the state of my heart. I need to know more. I need to understand how deep this betrayal goes. I sit at my computer, determined to uncover every detail. I hack into Lisa's phone, her emails, her social media accounts. What I find makes my blood run cold. Messages to and from Mark, her lover, filled with explicit details of their affair. Photos, videos, secrets shared between them. The words blur as I read them, a mix of rage and disbelief consuming me. They laugh about me, mock me. Lisa calls me boring, predictable. Mark encourages her, revels in their deception. They even talk about stealing from me, funneling money into secret accounts. My hands shake as I dig deeper. I find an address, Mark's apartment. I decide to confront him. He needs to see the consequences of his actions. I drive there, my mind a whirlwind of anger and determination. I arrive at a sleek, modern building. The doorman looks at me suspiciously, but lets me in when I mention Mark's name. I take the elevator to the 5th floor. My heart pounds in my chest. I knock on the door, hard. It swings open, and there he is. Mark, tall, athletic, with a smug smile on his face. "Jack, I presume," he says, leaning against the doorframe. "You bastard!" I spit out, my fist clenched. He laughs, a low, mocking sound. "What did you expect? She's been bored with you for years." I lunge at him, but he's quick. He dodges and I crash into the wall. "Calm down, Jack. Violence won't solve anything," he says, his voice infuriatingly calm. "You ruined my life," I shout, my voice echoing in the hallway. "No, Jack. Lisa made her own choices. You were just too blind to see it," he retorts, stepping closer. "But if you want to play dirty, I'm game." I glare at him, every fiber of my being screaming for revenge. "You'll pay for this," I say through gritted teeth. Mark smirks. "We'll see about that." I leave, my mind racing. This isn't over. Not by a long shot. I need a plan, something that will hurt him as much as he's hurt me. I spend the next few days gathering information, formulating my strategy. I hack into Mark's accounts, find his weaknesses. I discover he's been involved in illegal activities, things that could land him in serious trouble. I compile the evidence, preparing to turn it over to the authorities. But first, I need to see Lisa again. I return to the hospital, my emotions a chaotic mix. She's still in a coma, her face peaceful despite everything. "I hope you're happy," I say softly, sitting beside her. "You destroyed everything we had, but I'm not going down without a fight." The door opens and a doctor walks in. "Mr. Harris, can we talk?" I nod and follow him into the hallway. "Your wife's condition is stable, but there's no telling when she'll wake up. We're doing everything we can." "Thank you," I say, my voice distant. I return to Lisa's room, my resolve hardening. I won't be a victim. I will make them pay. Days turn into weeks. I work tirelessly, my mind focused on one thing: revenge. I dig deeper into Mark's life, finding more dirt, more ammunition. I prepare a dossier filled with damning evidence. I know it's only a matter of time before he slips up. Then it happens. A call from a contact I've made within law enforcement. "We've got him," the voice says. "Mark's been arrested." A wave of satisfaction washes over me. I've done it. I've outsmarted him. But I'm not done yet. Lisa is still in the hospital, and I need to confront her. I need to hear her explain herself, even if she's in a coma. I sit by her bed, my anger simmering. "You thought you were smart," I whisper, "but I outsmarted both of you." As if on cue, her eyes flutter open. She looks at me, confusion and fear in her eyes. "Jack?" she croaks, her voice weak. "Yes, it's me," I say, my voice cold. "You have a lot to answer for." Tears well up in her eyes. "I'm sorry," she whispers. "I didn't mean for any of this to happen." "Sorry doesn't cut it," I snap. "You betrayed me, lied to me, stole from me. You and Mark thought you could get away with it, but I've made sure you'll both pay." Her face crumples, and she starts to cry. "I was lost, Jack. I didn't know what I was doing." "Save your excuses," I say, standing up. "I've already taken care of Mark. He's in jail. And you're going to face the consequences too. I've frozen your accounts. You have nothing left." She looks at me, shock and horror on her face. "You can't do this," she pleads. "I already have," I reply, turning to leave. "Goodbye, Lisa." I walk out of the room, my heart pounding. The satisfaction of revenge mingles with a deep, aching sadness. This isn't how I wanted my life to turn out, but it's the reality I'm facing. As I step outside, the sun is setting, casting a warm glow over everything. I take a deep breath, feeling a sense of closure. But I know this is only the beginning. The trial is coming, and I need to be ready. The weeks leading up to the trial are intense. I work closely with my lawyer, preparing my case. The evidence I've gathered is damning, and I'm confident we'll win. But the stress takes its toll. I have trouble sleeping, my mind constantly racing. I can't shake the image of Lisa's tear-streaked face, her pleas echoing in my ears. The day of the trial arrives. I sit in the courtroom, my lawyer by my side. Lisa is there too, looking fragile and scared. Mark is brought in, handcuffed and defiant. The tension in the room is palpable. The judge calls for order, and the trial begins. Witnesses are called. Evidence is presented. I watch as Mark's smirk fades, replaced by a look of fear. The prosecutor lays out the case against him, detailing his crimes. My heart pounds as I take the stand, recounting the betrayal, the theft, the lies. I see Lisa watching me, her eyes filled with regret. When it's her turn to testify, she breaks down. "I'm so sorry," she sobs. "I made terrible choices. I don't know why I did it." The judge listens, impassive. The jury deliberates and the verdict is swift. Mark is found guilty on all counts. Lisa is sentenced to probation, her life in ruins. As I leave the courtroom, I feel a strange sense of relief. Justice has been served. But as I drive home, the weight of it all settles on me. My marriage is over. My life irrevocably changed. I've won, but at what cost? The house feels empty, echoing with memories of happier times. I sit in the living room, staring at the broken photo frame, wondering where to go from here. The next few days are a blur. I focus on work, trying to rebuild my life. Friends reach out, offering support, but I keep my distance. I need time to heal, to figure out who I am without Lisa. The betrayal has left scars, deep and painful. One evening, as I sit alone, I get a call from the hospital. "Mr. Harris, your wife is asking to see you," the nurse says. I hesitate, then agree. I need closure, one final conversation. I walk into her room, finding her sitting up, looking frail but awake. "Jack," she says softly. "Lisa," I reply, standing by the door. I know I wake up each day with a renewed sense of purpose. My mission is clear. I will make Mark and Lisa pay for their betrayal. The initial satisfaction of freezing Lisa's accounts and seeing Mark arrested is wearing off, and the reality of the upcoming trial looms over me like a dark cloud. I can't afford to get complacent. I need to stay one step ahead. I spend my days gathering more evidence, diving deeper into their lives. I want every possible piece of information that can be used against them. My nights are restless, filled with dreams of Lisa's tear-streaked face and Mark's smug grin. The anger fuels me, keeps me going. One afternoon, I receive a call from my lawyer. "Jack, we need to talk about the trial strategy. Can you come to my office?" I agree and head over immediately. The air in the office is thick with tension as we go over the evidence and plan our approach. "We have a strong case," my lawyer assures me, "but we need to be prepared for any surprises." I nod, determined. I'm ready for anything. Back at home, I continue my investigation. I hack into Mark's email, hoping to find something that can be used to discredit him further. I discover a series of emails between him and a shady business partner. They discuss illegal deals, money laundering, and other criminal activities. My heart races as I read through them, knowing I've struck gold. I print out the emails and add them to my growing pile of evidence. This will bury him, I think, satisfaction washing over me. But I can't let my guard down. I need to stay vigilant. The next day, I decide to visit Lisa in the hospital again. I need to see her, to confront her one more time before the trial. I walk into her room, and she looks up, surprise flickering in her eyes. "Jack, you came back," she says softly. "I need to talk to you," I reply, my voice cold. She nods, looking down at her hands. "I know I hurt you. I'm so sorry." "Sorry doesn't change anything," I snap. "You destroyed everything we had. Why, Lisa? Why did you do it?" Tears fill her eyes and she takes a shaky breath. "I was lost, Jack. I felt empty. Mark made me feel alive again. I didn't mean for it to go this far. Her words cut deep, but I refused to let her see my pain. Well, now you're going to pay for your choices, I say, standing up. I've made sure of that. I leave the room, my resolve stronger than ever. The trial is only a week away, and I need to be ready. As the trial date approaches, I spend more time with my lawyer, refining our strategy. We go over every detail, every piece of evidence. The emails I found will be crucial. We plan to use them to paint Mark as a manipulative criminal who dragged Lisa into his schemes. The night before the trial, I can't sleep. I lie in bed staring at the ceiling, my mind racing. The weight of what's to come presses down on me. This trial will determine everything. My future, my closure. I need to win. The morning of the trial, I dress in my best suit and head to the courthouse. The air is electric with anticipation. Reporters and cameras are everywhere, documenting every moment. I push through the crowd, my jaw set. Inside the courtroom, the tension is palpable. Lisa sits on one side, looking frail and scared. Mark is on the other, his expression defiant. I take my seat beside my lawyer, my heart pounding. The judge calls the court to order, and the trial begins. Witnesses are called, evidence is presented. I watch as my lawyer skillfully dismantles Mark's defense. The emails are brought into evidence, and the courtroom buzzes with shock. Mark's lawyer tries to discredit me, painting me as a vengeful husband out to destroy his wife and her lover. But the evidence is overwhelming. I take the stand, recounting the betrayal, the theft, the lies. My voice is steady, but inside I'm a whirlwind of emotions. When Lisa takes the stand, she breaks down. I made terrible choices, she sobs. I don't know why I did it. I'm so sorry, Jack. Her words are a punch to the gut, but I hold my ground. This isn't about forgiveness. It's about justice. The trial continues for days, each one more draining than the last. The prosecution lays out its case against Mark, detailing his criminal activities. I watch as his smug facade crumbles, replaced by fear. Lisa's involvement is laid bare, her reputation destroyed. As the trial reaches its climax, the tension in the courtroom is unbearable. The jury deliberates, and we wait, every second stretching into an eternity. Finally, they return with a verdict. Mark is found guilty on all counts. Lisa is sentenced to probation, her life in ruins. I leave the courthouse, a strange mix of relief and sorrow washing over me. I've won, but the victory feels hollow. My marriage is over. My life irrevocably changed. I walk through the crowd of reporters, their questions and cameras a blur. I need to get away, to find some semblance of peace. Back at home, the house feels emptier than ever. I sit in the living room, staring at the remnants of our life together. The broken photo frame, the wedding pictures, the memories. I take a deep breath, trying to steady myself. I decide to take a walk, to clear my mind. The evening air is cool and refreshing, a stark contrast to the heat of the courtroom. I wander through the streets, lost in thought. What comes next? How do I rebuild from here? I find myself at a park, the sound of children playing and birds chirping, soothing my frayed nerves. I sit on a bench, watching the world go by. For the first time in weeks, I feel a glimmer of hope. I've faced the worst, and I've come out the other side. I can rebuild. I can start anew. As I sit there, my phone buzzes. It's a message from my lawyer, congratulating me on the trial's outcome. I type a quick thank you and put the phone away. This isn't just a victory in court. It's a victory for me, a chance to reclaim my life. I head back home feeling lighter. The road ahead won't be easy, but I'm ready for it. I've faced betrayal, deceit, and heartbreak. But I've also discovered my own strength, my resilience. I can move forward. I spend the next few days tying up loose ends. I finalize the divorce, sell the house, and start looking for a new place to live. It's a fresh start, a chance to leave the past behind. I focus on my work, finding solace in the familiarity of coding and problem solving. One evening, I receive a call from an old friend. "Hey Jack, I heard about what happened. I just wanted to check in on you." We talk for hours, reminiscing about old times, catching up on life. It feels good to reconnect, to remember that there are still people who care about me. It's a reminder that I'm not alone. As the weeks pass, I start to find a new rhythm. I join a gym, take up new hobbies, and even start dating again. It's a slow process, but I'm rebuilding. Piece by piece, I'm putting my life back together. I still think about Lisa sometimes, about what we had and what we lost. But the pain is less acute now, more like a dull ache. I've learned to accept it, to let it be part of my past without letting it define me. The trial is over, and justice has been served. But more importantly, I've found my own sense of closure. I've taken control of my life, faced my demons, and come out stronger. As I sit on my new balcony, watching the sunset, I feel a sense of peace. The future is uncertain, but I'm ready for whatever comes next. I've outsmarted them, made them pay, and now it's time to move forward. The night air is cool, and the city lights twinkle in the distance. I take a deep breath, feeling a sense of freedom. The past is behind me, and a new journey awaits. I'm ready for it. The trial is over, but the aftermath lingers like a bad dream. I wake up each morning, the weight of what has happened pressing down on me. The anger and betrayal are still fresh, fueling my desire to move forward, to rebuild my life. But the wounds are deep, and healing takes time. I focus on my work, immersing myself in coding and problem solving. It's a welcome distraction, a way to keep my mind off the pain. But even as I lose myself in the lines of code, I can't escape the memories of Lisa and Mark. Their faces haunt me, reminders of the betrayal that shattered my world. One evening, as I sit at my computer, my phone rings. It's a number I don't recognize, but I answer it anyway. Hello? Jack, it's Detective Collins. We need to talk. My heart skips a beat. What's going on? There's been a development in Mark's case. Can you come down to the station? I agree, my mind racing. What could this be about? I grab my jacket and head out the door, the cool evening air doing little to calm my nerves. The drive to the police station is a blur, my thoughts consumed by the possibilities. Detective Collins meets me at the entrance, his expression serious. Thanks for coming, Jack. We've uncovered some new evidence. He leads me to a small conference room where he lays out a series of documents. We've been digging into Mark's background, and it turns out he's involved in more than we initially thought. These new charges could keep him locked up for a long time. I scan the documents, my anger flaring anew. What kind of charges? Fraud, money laundering, even some connections to organized crime. This guy is deep in it. I feel a grim satisfaction. Good. He deserves everything that's coming to him. Collins nods. We're also looking into Lisa's involvement. It's possible she knew more than she's letting on. The thought of Lisa being further implicated twists my gut, but I push it aside. Do what you have to do, I say. She made her choices. As I leave the station, I feel a renewed sense of purpose. This isn't over. I need to see this through, to make sure both Mark and Lisa face the consequences of their actions. I head home, my mind buzzing with possibilities. The next day, I receive a call from my lawyer. Jack, we need to discuss the implications of this new evidence. Can you come by my office? I agree and make my way there, eager to hear what he has to say. We sit down, and he goes over the details. This new evidence strengthens our case against Mark, but it also opens up new avenues for holding Lisa accountable. We need to be strategic about how we proceed. I nod, determined. Let's do it. I want them both to pay for what they've done. We spend hours going over the evidence, formulating a plan. My lawyer is confident, and his confidence bolsters my own. As I leave his office, I feel a sense of resolve. This is the culmination of everything I've worked for. The following weeks are a whirlwind of legal preparations and emotional turmoil. I continue to uncover more about Mark's illicit activities, each revelation adding fuel to my fire. I meet with Detective Collins regularly, providing him with everything I've found. The more we dig, the more damning the evidence becomes. One evening, as I sit at my desk, my phone buzzes with a message. It's from Lisa. My heart pounds as I read it. Jack, please, can we talk? I hesitate, my emotions warring within me. Part of me wants to ignore her, to leave her to face the consequences alone. But another part of me needs to hear what she has to say. I agree to meet her, my mind a storm of conflicting thoughts. We meet at a small cafe, the tension between us palpable. Lisa looks tired, her eyes filled with regret. "Thank you for coming," she says softly. I sit down, my expression guarded. "What do you want, Lisa?" She takes a deep breath. "I know I've hurt you. I know I've done terrible things, but I need you to understand why." I glare at her, my anger bubbling to the surface. "I don't need your excuses." She flinches but presses on. "Mark manipulated me. He made me feel things I hadn't felt in years. I was lost, Jack. I didn't know how to get out." Her words sting, but I refuse to let her see my pain. "You had a choice. You chose to betray me." Tears fill her eyes. "I know. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." I shake my head, my resolve hardening. "Sorry doesn't change anything. You and Mark destroyed my life. Now you're going to face the consequences." She reaches out, her hand trembling. "Please, Jack. I'm begging you. Help me." I pull back, my voice cold. "You're on your own, Lisa." I leave the cafe, my emotions a chaotic mix of anger and sorrow. Her plea for help echoes in my mind, but I push it aside. I can't afford to let my guard down. Not now. The trial resumes, the courtroom buzzing with anticipation. Mark's new charges are brought to light, and the evidence is damning. I watch as his smug demeanor crumbles, replaced by desperation. Lisa takes the stand, her testimony filled with tears and regret. But it's not enough. The jury sees through her facade, recognizing the role she played in the deception. The tension in the courtroom is electric as the judge delivers the verdict. Mark is found guilty on all counts, his sentence extended to reflect the new charges. Lisa is sentenced to probation, her involvement in Mark's schemes clear. As I listen to the verdict, a sense of closure washes over me. Justice has been served, but the victory feels hollow. My life has been irrevocably changed, and the path ahead is uncertain. I leave the courtroom, the weight of the past few months pressing down on me. I've won, but at what cost? As I drive home, I think about the future. I need to rebuild, to find a new purpose. The betrayal has left deep scars, but I'm determined to move forward. I focus on the things that bring me joy, immersing myself in work and new hobbies. I reconnect with old friends, finding solace in their support. One evening, as I sit on my balcony, watching the sunset, I feel a sense of peace. The past is behind me, and I'm ready to move forward. The road ahead won't be easy, but I'm prepared for whatever comes next. I decide to take a trip, to get away from the memories that haunt me. I pack my bags and head to a cabin in the mountains, seeking solitude and reflection. The fresh air and peaceful surroundings provide a much-needed respite from the chaos of the past few months. As I hike through the woods, I feel a sense of freedom. The weight of the past begins to lift, replaced by a sense of possibility. I spend my days exploring the trails, my nights sitting by the fire, lost in thought. It's a time of healing, a chance to rediscover who I am. One afternoon, as I sit by a clear mountain stream, I realize that I'm ready to let go of the anger and pain. I can't change the past, but I can choose how I move forward. I take a deep breath, feeling a sense of clarity. When I return home, I feel different, lighter, more hopeful. I throw myself into my work, finding joy in the challenges and accomplishments. I start dating again, cautiously opening myself up to the possibility of new relationships. It's not easy, but I'm determined to move forward. As the months pass, I find myself thinking less and less about Lisa and Mark. The wounds are healing, the scars fading. I've built a new life, one that's filled with promise and potential. One evening, as I sit on my balcony, watching the sunset, I feel a sense of peace. The past is behind me, and the future is bright. I've faced my demons, conquered my fears, and come out stronger. I take a deep breath, feeling the cool night air fill my lungs. The journey has been long and difficult, but I'm ready for whatever comes next. I've outsmarted them, made them pay, and now it's time to move forward. The future is mine, and I'm ready to embrace it. The trial is over, but the consequences linger. Every morning I wake up to an empty house and a heavy heart. The betrayal has left a scar that will never fully heal, but I'm determined to rebuild my life. I start by throwing myself into work. The familiarity of coding, the logic and problem solving provide a welcome distraction from the chaos in my mind. One afternoon, as I'm debugging a particularly tricky piece of software, my phone rings. It's my lawyer. "Jack, we need to talk about the next steps," he says. "Can you come by my office?" I agree, and an hour later, I'm sitting across from him, going over the final details of the divorce. "We need to finalize the division of assets," he says. "With the accounts frozen, we have leverage. Lisa won't get much." I nod, the cold satisfaction of justice mingling with a lingering sadness. "Do whatever it takes. I just want this over with." The process is tedious, but I push through. Each document signed, each asset divided, brings me closer to closure. Finally, the last paper is signed, and it's done. Lisa's out of my life, at least legally. Emotionally, it's a different story. I spend the next few weeks focusing on myself. I join a gym, taking out my frustration on the weights and treadmill. The physical exertion helps, burning off the anger and hurt. I start cooking again, experimenting with new recipes. The simple act of preparing a meal feels therapeutic, a small step towards normalcy. One evening, as I sit on my balcony sipping a glass of wine, my phone buzzes with a message. It's from an old college friend, Mike. "Hey Jack, heard about what happened. You should come out with us this weekend. Get your mind off things." I hesitate, but then decide it's time to start socializing again. "Sure, sounds good," I reply. That weekend I meet Mike and a few others at a downtown bar. The atmosphere is lively, the music loud. It feels strange to be out, but also refreshing. We talk, laugh, and for a while I forget about the past. As the night goes on, I find myself relaxing, enjoying the company and the distraction. Towards the end of the night, I notice a woman at the bar glancing my way. She's attractive, with dark hair and a confident smile. Mike nudges me. "Go talk to her," he says with a grin. I take a deep breath and walk over. "Hi, I'm Jack," I say, feeling a bit awkward. "Hi, Jack. I'm Emma," she replies, her smile widening. "Can I buy you a drink?" We talk for hours, the conversation flowing easily. There's a spark, a connection that I haven't felt in a long time. By the end of the night, we exchange numbers, and I leave the bar feeling lighter, hopeful. The next few weeks are a whirlwind. I see Emma a few times, each date better than the last. She's smart, funny, and has a way of making me forget about the pain. But I'm cautious, taking things slow. The wounds from Lisa's betrayal are still fresh, and I'm not ready to fully open up. One evening, as we sit on her couch watching a movie, she turns to me. "Jack, I like you, a lot, but I can tell you're holding back. What's going on?" I take a deep breath, the urge to confide in her overwhelming. "I went through a rough divorce recently," I say, my voice shaking. "My wife, she betrayed me in the worst possible way. It's been hard to move on." Emma's eyes soften, and she takes my hand. "I'm sorry, Jack. That sounds awful, but I'm here for you. You don't have to go through this alone." Her words are a balm to my wounded soul, and I feel a crack in the wall I've built around my heart. "Thank you, Emma. That means a lot." We continue to see each other, and slowly I start to let her in. She becomes a constant in my life, a source of comfort and joy. But there are still moments when the past haunts me, when the pain of Lisa's betrayal feels fresh. One night, as we lie in bed, I wake up in a cold sweat, the memories of the trial and the betrayal vivid in my mind. Emma stirs beside me, sensing my distress. "Jack, what's wrong?" she asked, her voice filled with concern. Sometimes it all comes back," I admit, my voice barely a whisper. "The betrayal, the trial, everything." She wraps her arms around me, her touch soothing. "It's okay, Jack. It's going to take time, but I'm here for you." Her support helps, and gradually the nightmares become less frequent. I focus on the positive, on the new life I'm building. I continue to work out, to cook, to spend time with friends. Each day feels like a step forward, a move towards healing. As the months pass, I find myself thinking less and less about Lisa and Mark. The anger and betrayal fade, replaced by a sense of acceptance. I've faced the worst and I've come out stronger. The scars remain, but they no longer define me. One evening, as Emma and I sit on the balcony, watching the sunset, she turns to me. "Jack, I love you," she says, her voice filled with emotion. My heart swells and I realize that I feel the same. "I love you too, Emma," I reply, my voice steady. The words feel right, a declaration of a new beginning. I've found someone who understands me, who supports me. Together we build a future, one filled with hope and possibility. I still think about the past sometimes, about what happened with Lisa and Mark, but it no longer holds power over me. I've taken control of my life, faced my demons, and come out stronger. The future is bright, and I'm ready for whatever comes next. One day as I walk through the park, I see a familiar face. It's Lisa, sitting on a bench looking lost. I hesitate, then walk over. "Lisa." She looks up, surprise flickering in her eyes. "Jack, I didn't expect to see you here." "I'm just out for a walk," I say, sitting down beside her. "How are you?" She sighs, looking away. "I'm trying to move on. It's been hard." I nod, understanding. "It's not easy, but it gets better." She looks at me, her eyes filled with regret. "I'm sorry for everything, Jack. I hope you can forgive me." I take a deep breath, the words feeling right. "I've let go of the anger, Lisa. I've moved on. I hope you can too." She nods, tears filling her eyes. "Thank you, Jack. That means a lot." We sit in silence for a while, the past lingering between us. But it feels different now, less painful. We part ways, and as I walk away, I feel a sense of closure. The past is behind me, and the future is bright. Back home, I find Emma waiting for me. "How was your walk?" she asks, her smile lighting up the room. "It was good," I reply, pulling her into an embrace. "I ran into Lisa." Her eyes widen. "How did that go?" "It was healing," I say, surprising myself with the truth. "I think I'm finally ready to move on." She smiles, wrapping her arms around me. "I'm glad, Jack. You deserve to be happy." And for the first time in a long time, I feel that happiness. The journey has been long and painful, but I've come out the other side stronger, more resilient. The future is filled with promise, and I'm ready to embrace it. Together with Emma, I face the new day, the new life, with hope and determination. The trial has left a lingering shadow over my life, but I'm determined to step into the light. Emma has been my anchor, helping me navigate the turbulent waters of my emotions. But today I face the final confrontation, the last reckoning with my past. I wake up early, the sun just beginning to rise. The house is quiet, the air filled with a sense of anticipation. I get dressed, my movements deliberate and measured. Today is the day I finally put everything to rest. Emma stirs beside me, her eyes opening slowly. "Jack, are you ready?" I nod, my resolve firm. "Yes, it's time." We drive to the courthouse in silence, the tension palpable. My heart pounds in my chest, a mix of anxiety and determination. The building looms ahead, a symbol of the justice I've sought for so long. Inside, the courtroom buzzes with activity. Reporters, lawyers, and spectators fill the room, all eager for the final act in this drama. I take my seat, my lawyer by my side. Emma sits behind me, her presence a comforting reminder that I'm not alone. The judge enters, and the room falls silent. Mark is brought in, looking haggard and defeated. Lisa follows, her expression a mix of fear and regret. The final confrontation begins. The prosecution presents its case, detailing the new evidence we've uncovered. Mark's crimes are laid bare, each revelation a nail in his coffin. I watch as his bravado crumbles, replaced by a desperate resignation. Lisa takes the stand, her voice trembling as she recounts her involvement. Her testimony is filled with tears and apologies, but the damage is done. The jury listens, their expressions hardening as they weigh her words. When it's my turn to testify, I stand tall, my voice steady. I recount the betrayal, the pain, and the journey to uncover the truth. I lay out the evidence, each piece a testament to the lengths I've gone to seek justice. The courtroom is silent, the tension thick. As I finish, I look at Lisa. Her eyes meet mine, and I see the regret and sorrow there. But it's too late for apologies. The judge calls for a recess, and we wait, the minutes stretching into hours. Finally, the jury returns. The foreman stands, his voice clear and unwavering. We find the defendant, Mark, guilty on all counts. We find the defendant, Lisa, guilty of conspiracy and fraud. The words wash over me, a wave of relief and vindication. It's over. The nightmare is finally over. I turn to Emma, her smile a beacon of hope. We embrace, the weight of the past lifting from my shoulders. Outside the courthouse, the sun shines brightly, a stark contrast to the darkness of the past months. Reporters swarm us, their questions a blur. I ignore them, focusing on the future. Emma's hand in mine, we walk away, leaving the chaos behind. The days that follow are a whirlwind of media attention and legal formalities. Mark is sentenced to a lengthy prison term, his life in ruins. Lisa receives a lighter sentence, her involvement mitigated by her cooperation. I watch it all from a distance, my heart finally at peace. With the trial behind us, Emma and I focus on building our life together. We move into a new home, a place filled with light and hope. I return to work, finding solace in the routine. The scars are still there, but they no longer define me. One evening, as we sit on the balcony, the sunset painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Emma turns to me. Jack, I'm proud of you. You've come so far. I smile, the future bright before us. Thank you, Emma. I couldn't have done it without you. We sit in comfortable silence, the past a distant memory. The future is ours, filled with promise and possibility. The following weeks are a time of healing and growth. I reconnect with old friends, finding joy in their company. Emma and I take trips, exploring new places and making new memories. Each day is a step forward, a move towards the life we want to build. One day I receive a letter from Lisa. It's filled with apologies and pleas for forgiveness. I read it carefully, my emotions a mix of anger and pity, but I know what I have to do. I write back, a simple message of closure. I forgive you, but I can't forget. I wish you well. Sending the letter feels like lifting a weight off my shoulders. The past is truly behind me now, and I can focus on the future. I take Emma's hand, feeling a sense of peace. Together we face the new day, ready for whatever comes next. We continue to build our life, each day a new adventure. I find joy in the small moments, the simple pleasures of daily life. Emma's laughter, the warmth of the sun, the beauty of the world around us. It's a life filled with love and hope, a far cry from the darkness of the past. As the months pass, the memories of the trial and betrayal fade. They become distant echoes, reminders of the strength and resilience I've found. I've faced my demons, conquered my fears, and come out stronger. One evening, as Emma and I sit by the fire, she turns to me. Jack, do you ever think about the future? About what comes next? I smile, feeling a sense of excitement. Yes, I do, and I'm looking forward to it. We talk late into the night, dreaming about the life we want to build, the places we'll go, the things we'll do. It's a future filled with promise, and I'm ready for it. The next day, I receive a call from my lawyer. Jack, there's one final piece of business. The settlement from the trial has come through. You're entitled to a substantial amount. I listen, a sense of closure washing over me. The financial settlement is a reminder of the justice I've sought, but it's more than that. It's a symbol of the journey I've been on, the battles I've fought and won. I thank my lawyer and hang up, feeling a sense of satisfaction. The past is behind me, and the future is bright. I've faced the worst and come out stronger. Now it's time to embrace the life I've built. Emma and I continue to grow closer, our bond deepening with each passing day. We talk about the future, about starting a family, about the adventures we'll have. It's a life filled with love and hope, and I'm ready for it. As we sit on the balcony, watching the sunset, I feel a sense of peace. The past is a distant memory, the future bright and filled with promise. I've faced my demons, conquered my fears, and found happiness. The journey has been long and difficult, but it's led me here, to a place of healing and hope. I've outsmarted them, made them pay, and now it's time to move forward. The future is mine, and I'm ready to embrace it. Together with Emma, I face the new day, the new life, with hope and determination. The past is behind us, and the future is bright. I've found happiness, and I'm ready for whatever comes next. The journey has been worth it, and I'm ready to embrace the future, one filled with love, hope, and endless possibilities. The courtroom is empty now, the echoes of the trial fading into silence. I sit alone, absorbing the finality of it all. Mark is behind bars, Lisa is out of my life, and justice has been served. The weight of the past months lifts, replaced by a sense of closure. But I know this isn't the end. It's the beginning of a new chapter. I step outside, the sun warm on my face. Emma is waiting for me, her smile a beacon of hope. We walk to the car, hand in hand, leaving the courthouse and its memories behind. "How do you feel?" she asks, her voice gentle. "Free," I say, surprising myself with the truth. "It's over. Finally over." She squeezes my hand, and we drive home in comfortable silence. I reflect on everything that has happened, the betrayal, the anger, the fight for justice. It's been a journey of pain and growth, but I've emerged stronger. At home, we settle into our routine. The house feels different now, lighter. I start cooking dinner, the familiar motions grounding me. Emma joins me, and we work together, our movements in sync. It's a simple pleasure, but it means everything. Over dinner, we talk about the future. "What's next for us?" Emma asks, her eyes shining with excitement. I think about it. The possibilities endless. We build a life together. We make new memories, go on adventures, and maybe start a family someday. She smiles, a tear slipping down her cheek. I'd like that. The days pass, filled with laughter and love. We take long walks, explore new places, and enjoy the simple pleasures of life. Each day feels like a step towards healing, a move away from the darkness of the past. One evening, as we sit on the balcony watching the sunset, Emma turns to me. "Jack, I want to ask you something." "Anything," I reply, curious. "Will you marry me?" Her words take me by surprise, but my answer is immediate. "Yes, 1,000 times yes." We celebrate that night, our love reaffirmed. The future is bright, filled with promise and possibility. We start planning our wedding, each detail a testament to our journey and the love we've found. The wedding day arrives, a beautiful sunny afternoon. Friends and family gather, their smiles and laughter a testament to our new beginning. Emma walks down the aisle, radiant and beautiful. As we exchange vows, I feel a sense of peace and joy, unlike anything I've ever known. The reception is a blur of happiness and celebration. We dance, laugh, and make promises for the future. It's a day of pure joy, a symbol of the life we've built together. In the months that follow, we settle into married life. Each day is a new adventure, filled with love and discovery. We support each other, growing closer with each passing moment. The scars of the past fade, replaced by the warmth of our love. One evening, as we sit by the fire, Emma looks at me, her eyes filled with love. "Jack, I'm pregnant." My heart leaps with joy, and I pull her into my arms. "We're going to be parents," I whisper, the future bright before us. The months of pregnancy are a time of anticipation and excitement. We prepare for the baby's arrival, our love growing stronger with each passing day. When our daughter is born, I feel a sense of completeness. She's a symbol of our journey, our love, and the future we're building together. As I hold her in my arms, I think about everything that has led to this moment. The pain, the betrayal, the fight for justice. It's all been worth it, leading me to this place of love and happiness. Our life is filled with joy and love, each day a new adventure. We watch our daughter grow, her laughter and smiles a constant reminder of the beauty of life. We face challenges together, our bond unbreakable. One evening, as we sit on the porch watching the sunset, Emma turns to me. "Jack, do you ever think about the past?" "Sometimes," I admit, "but it feels distant now, like a bad dream that's finally over." She nods, her hand in mine. "We've come so far. I'm so proud of us." I smile, the future bright before us. "Me too, and I'm excited for what comes next." We sit in comfortable silence, the past behind us and the future filled with promise. Our journey has been long and difficult, but it's led us to this place of love and happiness. As the sun sets, I feel a sense of peace. The past is a distant memory, the future bright and filled with possibility. I've faced my demons, conquered my fears, and found happiness. The journey has been worth it, and I'm ready for whatever comes next. The future is ours, and I'm ready to embrace it with open arms.